Hello folks and welcome back to Zesty Steel. Today we're going to be tackling binging with Babish's challenge. That means Meat-Ghetti and Spag-Balls. We're going to be putting a spin on it by making smash burger bucatini and fried mozzarella spag-balls. So let's get started. To get started, we're going to heat our oven to 500 degrees and place a large 12-inch cast iron skillet on the center rack. We're then going to move on to our red sauce. We're going to start by dicing up our onion. Then we're going to smash 6 cloves of garlic with our sword. After they're smashed, we're going to peel our garlic and then start chopping. We're then going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil into a ripping hot, high-walled sauté pan, as well as our onion. We're going to fry our onion until it turns translucent, starting with our sword to make sure that it doesn't burn. After a couple of minutes of frying, we're going to add our garlic. Give it another good stir with your sword, and then add one 32-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes. Break them up against the side of your sauté pan using your sword. Then bring this tomato sauce to a bare simmer and add some herbs. Now I had lying around in my garden some fresh basil as well as some spicy oregano, and these are going to play really nicely in our sauce. After our herbs are added, we're then going to give our tomato sauce a good stir and then add some black pepper. We're going to leave this simmering on low while we prepare our other food. Now it's time we move on to our spag balls. We're starting by cracking 2 eggs into a bowl and scrambling with our chainmail until smooth. We're then going to prep our breading station, so we're going to add some flour as well as some breadcrumbs to 2 separate bowls. Next we're going to need some spaghetti that is cooked 2 minutes past what it says on the box, as well as some low moisture whole milk mozzarella. We're going to start by molding our mozzarella into a ball that is a bit smaller than a ping pong ball. We're then going to cover it in our spaghetti. Now this ball isn't going to be too tight right now. In fact, you're bound to have loose spaghetti flopping around like that. So in order to help things stick together, we're going to add some flour. We're then going to dip our ball into our egg mixture. Give it a good squeeze to get it as tight as you can before adding some breadcrumbs. Oh, and throw the wet hand, dry hand technique right out the window. To make these, you're bound to get your hands covered in gunk. We're then going to add another layer just to make sure that our mozzarella doesn't leak out. So we're dipping back in our egg mixture and then in our breadcrumb mixture until our spaghetti balls look something like this. Now Binging with Babish had the right idea with frying his spag balls. The problem he ran into was that the spaghetti in the middle was undercooked. We move around this by having that mozzarella core. Once your spag balls are finished, revel in your disgusting hands. Now on to frying. Frying is a form of witchcraft, so in order to do it properly and safely, we're going to need some magical device to tell us temperature. An infrared thermometer works great for this. So we are heating our oil until it reaches 350 degrees Fahrenheit before gently lowering our spag balls into the bubbling cauldron. We're then going to fry for about a minute and a half, making sure that the balls do not touch each other while cooking. We're going to remove our spag balls from the oil and then drain on paper towels. We're then going to put it in a 300-degree oven while we prepare our beef bucatini. Now the issue that arises with making beef noodles is having gross slimy noodles. In order to combat that, I wanted to make noodles inspired by smash burger. To do this, I needed a way to make sure the noodles were thoroughly crispy on the inside and out, so metal straws were the best option. So we're going to take about 1/3 of a pound of 80/20 ground beef and only add salt and pepper to it. I'm intentionally adding a bit extra salt as it will help keep our noodles from breaking apart. Also, this is why we didn't salt our tomato sauce earlier. We're then going to mix our beef mixture until it is thoroughly incorporated. Again, we're going for smash burgers, so no other seasonings are needed. Next, we're going to take about a golf ball sized piece of meat and begin to work it over the length of our metal straw, until it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. We're then going to inspect our beef to make sure there are no holes. If you find any, be sure to patch them up. The great thing about metal straws being hollow and a great conductor of heat is that it'll cook our beef from the inside and out. So we're repeating until we have about 5 beef noodles ready. We're then going to place them in our heated cast iron skillet inside the 500-degree oven for 3 minutes. We're then going to flip and go for another 3 minutes until it's nice and crispy. After the beef noodles are finished, it's time to plate up. But first we need a cross section for our spag balls. Now we did a pretty good job with a small cheese stretch. So to plate these up, we're going to get a few spoonfuls of our tomato sauce to act as a bed for our spag balls and meat bucatini. Then we'll place our spag balls in back with our meat bucatini in front. Now it is imperative that you pull the beef off while it's still hot. Cold burger meat is just disgusting, and they are pretty darn thin, so you need to work pretty fast. After they're all off, garnish with a sprig of basil, and we're done. Now I am incredibly proud of this recipe, because it is in all sense of the word, actually tasty. The spag balls are glorified mozzarella sticks, so of course they're amazing. But the real star of the show is actually the beef bucatini. They're so unbelievably crispy and delicious. The tomato sauce perfectly complements them with the garlicky flavors and makes this dish a real winner. As you can see, I'm pretty darn excited. I think I've succeeded at this challenge with flying colors, and I'm really proud with the results. I turned a cursed food into something that is actually tasty. Now, should you ever make this? No, of course not. Just make mozzarella sticks and smash burgers. Is it too late to forget the Parmesan cheese? Probably.